Should be good to go. Just check the live chat here. This is my fault, guys. A full hour late than we usually go. Yep, I can hear myself in the stream now. Anyway, all right. Real quick, I gotta bring all my tabs back open here, and I'm gonna wrong one there. 1 second, guys. Let me get my tabs up because I went straight to YouTube to start back up the live stream. I didn't even bring my fancynational.com. I got to shout them out. Moosenomics and his team are doing a fantastic job. Beta stage for free, collecting a bunch of stats from everything: strokes gained, birdie makers, fairways hit, green regulations, par 5 efficiency, everything you want. So sorry, I got 6 tabs, not of Fantasy National, but I've already got my players highlighted. So let's see. I'm only going to be running a couple lineups in golf this week because we have a week off next week, and then we have the major down in my home state here in North Carolina, Charlotte. It's the PGA Championship. A lot of money is being put on Rory from the community, from what I've heard. Very interesting. I signed up to volunteer a couple days ago over there, but I'm pretty far in line. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. And they give you to expand, like the whole saying is to expand the game of golf, or I can't remember what to make the game bigger or something like that. If you volunteer, they give you like the uniform and all that shit for free, which is like some dope polo and stuff like that, like a $200 like value of clothes, and then 2 tickets like set, man. For that, that's like $2,200 like on the market. So anyway, let's get into this week though. The RBC Canadian Open. Let's see. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I just got a message Seth real quick. His computer's going through some update, like some force update. All right. Just told him I'm live now. So here we go. Just give you guys some basic info of the course. While I do pull up a couple more tabs here, some Vegas odds. Bring up the sweatshop just in case we got any posts. It's a par 72, roughly 7,253 yards. Depends on where they place the pins, of course, and that goes by the day. We can't project that. But we do know that no par 5s are going to be longer than 560 yards. So we're looking at, well, originally you'd think you'd be looking at bombers, but if you look at there's only been 3 years. Do not include 2014 in your course history. It's 2013, 2015, and 2016. If you want the 5 most recent years, or in the last 5 years, you want to look at those 3 years. Bombers have done well. It's weird. In the most recent event last year, like Johnny Vegas won the event, right? The guy is known for hitting it off the tee, not very good on the green. But if you look at years past, Jim Furyk is stands out. I mean, he's 9,100 this week. That just should tell you everything. Like Jim Furyk was missing cut after cut early in the season, people thinking he was done. So he has ridiculous course history, runner up a couple times, I think. We're gonna get into it. I just don't remember off the top of my head, but I know he does very well. He won't be in my any of my teams because I'm only running 2. Seth, when he gets in here, will be able to tell you more, as he told me he's max entering the $3 the birdie, which is only 20 entries, not 150. They capped that, which is nice, at only 20 like they do in baseball, so that's good. Brent Snedeker, real quick, before I get anything else, is withdrawn. If you are using Fantasy National, he will pop up. So if you try to use their free lineup generator, which does work, I'm still tinkering. It's real first stages. That's why it's a beta. But I mean, it's free. I'm gonna use it. It's not. It doesn't have all the features, but it's, like I said, free. So I highly suggest you guys use it. Yeah, it's great. These are the actual players I'm having exposure to, but I'll explain it later. I don't want to give out everything early. So this course, like I said, is more of a distance course or a bombers course. You're hearing guys like Finau, Luke List being talked up, but as I mentioned, Jim Furyk and guys like that, ball strikers like Kuchar, they can do well also. And this week we're also not looking at terrible weather. This is in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. I'm gonna bring up the weather right now because this is the best time to do it. I had to bring up all my tabs anyway, so there we go. Thursday we might have a nice little tea time advantage. We're scattered storms, so I am going to get into, instead of using Apple weather like I am now, because they are. I don't want to completely demonize them, but man, I tried to. I made a few lineups for the for like the $4 birdie that was huge last week for the major, and I decided to stack like one of the I stacked like the first 3 tee times. Like I took 2 from each one of the 3, and boy, when I watched it live at the start because it was like 1:30 my time, so in the morning that's not bad. I was awake, and they were golfing out there in a hurricane, man. That was ridiculous. I kept like the weather on Apple. I don't know. I'm never using that shit again. But let's see here. Wind finder. All right. So yeah, the wind's going to be low. 8 a.m. it's actually going to be pretty high, 14 gust maximum. But down at 5 p.m. it's only going to be 3 miles per hour. So we could be looking at. Let me look at Friday real quick. Ooh, so Friday late it's going to start gusting. So I am going. I chose my players already before looking at the weather because I thought the weather was clear, but obviously we know weather can turn on a dime. But I'm gonna look more into this. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, if you're making golf lineups, which all of you I suppose are, you got to look at weather on your own. I mean, you gotta think if there's an advantage or not. I mean, you can't take someone else's word. That's the easiest way people can sway you, and I'm not doing that. What I'm looking at is what you're looking at. I'm not even sharing my screen with you fools. Shit. My bad, man. Holy fuck. Boys. Fuck you think you're doing? My apologies, guys. I'm coming at you now. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Oh my. All right, there we go. My sincere apologies, guys. Holy smokes. All right, we got 5 people. I know we lost some because we usually get about in the teens there, but we lost them because the fucking stream went out, and it was just that's my fault there. So, for the loyal guys here, man, the real golf heads, we're gonna get into this. Jordan, good to see you, man. I see you here every week. Shout out to you, man, Jordan Lucas. So, uh, just the last point I really wanted to make before I continue was just the weather thing. Like, everyone's got to look into their own weather angle, what they think is best. Because honestly, people are going to go. There's going to be people stacking each way, regardless. Just which one's game theory wise? But you need to be right on. If you're right on, that could be a 2-3 stroke difference. But right now, the weather doesn't look like it's like completely going to kill you. So that's why I didn't look at it at first. But I might make one additional lineup and enter in a 3-entry max. I was just going to go 2. But I was going to make pretty much honestly the same identical lineup with Bubba in one and Finau in the other, but I kind of want to put them together. So I might make a third with that and then stack the other 4 in the Thursday PM, Friday AM tea time if I can. But anyway, let's actually get into the golf here. Since we have 4 par 5s, I have put par 5 scoring at a premium. I did not put that in the Facebook post because what I posted in the Facebook post wasn't. I shouldn't have labeled it my key stats because what it was the correlation to finishing position last year. So Johnny Vegas, who won last year, excelled in those stats, like green and regulation percentage. I got a shout out on in the thing there. Yeah. I'm doing decent in the fielder's choice right now, but I'm dropping slowly just because I have no action in the late games. But it's all right. So yeah, uh, par five scoring has actually gone right up into my second slot there. Beyond stroke gain, tee to green, just because tee to green is like almost a necessity. So pretty much par five scoring is huge. I'm gonna come at you guys right off and tell you that there are the RBC sponsorship here, the RBC Canadian Open. RBC also sponsors golfers themselves. I posted in the group, in our VIP group in the Facebook. So if you're just watching this on YouTube, um, check out dfssweatshop.com. We cover everything, everything. You know what I mean? Esports, WNBA, even sometimes real betting. I mean, it doesn't even matter. Anyway, 4 par fives. We're looking for a nice week here with the RBC guys. I think guys like Kuchar, um, he's a cut maker. He's a check casher. Not to mention this is his sponsorship, his course, not his course. What am I smoking? But he has extra incentive to show. And there's other guys, Furyk as well. The other 5, actually, I do not. Well, Snedeker withdrew. I know he was one. If I go through these names, Graham Dillette, who is also Canadian, he is going up in Vegas odds. So that will be interesting. But there's 7 or 8 of these guys that will be participating in this event. Nick Taylor as well. A few Canadians. Graham McDowell is not Canadian, but he's one as well. All coming back to me now. So if we have any questions, we can get into that. I am waiting for Seth, so sorry to sound like I'm going like I'm off a new moon because you guys heard me the last 2 weeks. I've been going straight into it, but I didn't want to leap you guys like 20 minutes into a video and then have Seth come in and kind of go somewhere else. So we will start at the top though, as we always do, and start at since salary is this event is nothing like the majors or like a major. We only have 3 guys above 10K this week. I mean, those 3 guys are all going to be 25% owned. Let me just put it that way. Maybe 30. I don't see one of them being chalk, and you got to get the right one. Honestly, I talk a little game theory. I think we could pick down in that 6K range. I'm gonna talk to you guys real quick before we get into the picks, just because I don't even need to log into Bovada right now. My apologies. Let's get right to the golf here. We have some very interesting names, real cheap, that we could pick off here. If you are a Vegas head or you believe in Vegas odds, I personally do. If people are putting a lot of money, I don't believe in Vegas 100%. I did tonight in baseball with playing Aaron Nola. Astros total went down to 4.1 from like 4.8 opening, so sharp money coming through. Anyway, right quick, we can look at some guys that are way underpriced according to Vegas odds. I just want to point this out before we're getting to the list because I don't want to go off a log. So real quick, we got Ollie Schneider-Jans, who is in my player pool. He is volatile, but at 50-1 at 7,200 on DraftKings, that's nuts. He's around guys. Keegan Bradley's only 45-1. He's 8,900 this week. Then we also have Patrick Rogers, who actually is going to garner a lot of ownership because he is only 7,000 at 50-1 as well. Scott Stalling, 7,600, just playing good golf right now. Not really that cheap compared to odds, but just playing good golf. Let's see. And Graham Dillette's kind of skyrocketed odds because he's an RBC guy and a Canadian. Patrick Cantlay, the guy that takes 2 months off after every couple tournaments, but for good reason. I think he lost like his best friend to a car accident or something like that. But this dude is a world-class golfer. I'm telling you, 8,100. Very small sample size. He's only golfed 6 events, I think, this year. But boy, does he kill it. I think Brian Mears on Fantasy Labs says plus minus was like 27 or something like that. I don't remember exactly. what he said, but it was nuts. But that's very small sample size. 28-1 is a great bargain. You're looking at Bubba Watson 9,500 this week at the same odds as Patrick Cantlay at 8,100 on DK. Danny Lee as well, only 8,000 on DK. I think a lot of people are going to be off him. He was one of the chalkiest guys last week with Drew. So, or not last week when I was smoking, 2 weeks ago, or was it? I'm off a lot, guys. I apologize. I think it was 2 weeks ago he withdrew. I've been so focused on baseball, I've lost my mind. But anyway, he withdrew. I think a few people are going to be off him. The only problem is he's down low at 8K now. Like, I don't see why is he not, like, do they price him low just because he withdrew? Like, let me bring up Danny Lee here since I have my screen shared here. Look at this. I mean, this dude, 9th, 22nd, 3rd. This doesn't count as withdrawal, obviously, but 9th, 22nd, 3rd, 47th. That hasn't missed a cut since the players, right? How is he? Why does his price drop? I don't get it. But yeah, it was the Masters last week. My apologies, guys. Yeah. All right. So Danny Lee, he's going to be in my player pool, that's for sure. He will make a lineup. I'm probably going to go all 3 entry max. All right. Let me just see here. I might have to post another link real quick, guys, because I think I had to since I had to restart the video. Like, I rebooted my computer and all that good stuff. Here, we got a couple dingers too. Fucking Yasiel Puig. Hey, we won the Gold Cup, the United States soccer team. 2-1 victory over Jamaica. All right. Let me know when it's the World Cup, boys. Anyway, all right. Let me get into our VIP real quick and just drop the link one time under my post there. I'm not going to do anything crazy here. Let's see. Sorry, guys, I lost my post. All right, there we go. All right. I've also put in the official PGA thread there I made, so give me 1 second there. My fault, guys. Hey, there's Seth. I hear him, boys.
You guys hear me?
I hear you. You hear me?
Yes, I do.
All right. Then that was my fault the whole time then, guys. My apologies. I kind of put that on Seth in the chat room. Not to put it on him, but I was like, he's having troubles. But that was me. So my apologies, everyone. Anyway, I haven't gotten too much into it. I've said just since you were here, all I did, you can probably see my screen. I just went through. I didn't want to go through any plays yet, so we weren't like going hoo-ha and back. So I just covered the Vegas mismatches with DK prices just from the jump. So guys like Ollie Schneider, Jans, Patrick Rogers, both at 50-1 at under 7,500, under 7,300. Yeah, so guys like Patrick Cantlay, 2,800 to plus 2,800, linked with next to Bubba plus 2,800 as well. Bubba's 94, 9,500, and Cantlay's 81. So and Danny Lee as well at 8K. I have plus 4,000. I was just pointing out stuff like that. So no actual plays, but how you doing, man?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. It's been a little while since I've been on with you guys.
Yes, it has, man.
Good to be back.
Yeah, I was telling them that we're gonna have a good video today because I'm only making 2 or 3 lineups, and I heard you told me you were max entering the $3, right, or the 4. I don't remember which one they do now, but so we're gonna have a good take.
Definitely, yeah. I'm gonna do the 4. That's all I'm doing is I maxed the 4 with 20 lineups. I'm not doing anything else. I just want to. I'm kind of like it's kind of like an experiment. I mean, it's a little $80 experiment, I guess. Hopefully, I'll at least break even, but. I just want to try a couple things that I took from the Open.
I feel you.
And obviously they roll out 150 lineups, but nobody's getting more than 20, so it's all relative, right? Basically, I mean, you can't really spread yourself too thin as far as going down with too big a player pool, obviously. But I think the smaller, the better. From what I don't know if you guys saw some of the posts I put up with different ownerships and who was who was really overweight on who. I put some of the guys that the usual suspects like Sahil, aka Max Dollery, CSU Ram, all these guys that are huge sharks basically. I was able to kind of pick apart what they did through the use of Fantasy Fanatics, which unfortunately is coming to a close. I'm not too happy about it. But Fantasy Fanatics, as most of you probably know, was bought out by Fantasy Labs, and I don't know what that's going to mean in terms of what you've been able to, if any of you have it, it's a great tool, but unfortunately things are going to change. But hopefully they change for the better. I don't know, but I guess you'll need Fantasy Labs to be able to use it, whereas before it was like $5 a week, which was great. I don't know if my screen's not coming up on there. Are you able to share my screen?
Yeah, I got you. My fault there, man.
All right.
I was sharing mine by just default there, but I got you. Let me see here. Click on you, present it. Everyone. All right. I think you are. Wait, it says I'm screen sharing.
Yeah, I'm seeing it on the YouTube screen, I believe. Yeah, I think when you talk, it goes back to you, so it's kind of like voice activated, I'm assuming. But anyway, this is what Fantasy Fanatics looks like, and won't be around anymore, unfortunately. But for those of you who haven't seen it, it's really cool. I mean, it's got everything basically you need. You can customize the key stats. This is basically just key stats that I think the guy's name is Kenny, that the creator of this, and I'm sure he made a nice fortune from getting bought up by Fantasy Labs. But he's psyched about it, so I guess it's a good thing. But as you can see here, this week I just left it as is because I haven't really had a chance to mess with it this week. He's got birdie or better, DK points per game, par 5, shots gained approach, tee to green, and then it's an average overall. So right now, if you take the average, the guy that's coming up is Patrick Cantlay, which he's definitely throughout the week grown a lot of chatter and tags, I guess, on Fanshare, right?
I actually have not been on Fanshare since last night. I need a good point. Let me go check, because it was weird because Charlie Hoffman was still number one.
Jacob, no, you didn't miss anything yet. I just actually got in here myself, so I guess we're just kind of getting started.
Oh, no worries. Yeah. I actually didn't go into any plays, Jacob. I just talked about the Vegas mismatches and odds, but we'll probably get to that at the end of the video as well, just to recap. So you did not miss anything, man. Except the little course layout, just all 4 par 5s are real short. So
he says he's got he's T4 and tags. Cantlay is on Fanshare. So yeah, he's definitely going to be up there in ownership. His stats, though, he doesn't have any other stats listed here, which is weird because, let's see, what has he been doing recently? The Memorial. So his best finish recently was the RBC Heritage, 3rd place. The Valspar, he had a 2nd. So in these weak field events, which these are, he does very well. When it comes to, like, even in the Players, he did well. I mean, that was a tough tournament. He had a 22nd, so he's definitely playing good. He warrants all the talk and the hype, for sure. I mean, I'm not going to say he's a bad player or anything. But, I was just kind of showing what the cheat sheet does when it averages out the key stats that are plugged in. So we got Cantlay, DJ obviously is up there. He's all green. As you scroll down, you're going to see it start losing some green, like Shane Lowry. It's not good in the par 5, so I kind of lose interest in a guy like that because this thing is like very heavy on the par 5 stats. Guys that win it, from what I heard, and I got this from Pat Mayo, I'm sure you guys all watched it, but the par 4 specialists are the guys that win it, but as far as DK points, you need the guys crushing the par fives. You know, the guys that are basically going birdie or better on every par five.
Right.
Obviously, they don't do it on everyone, but you know, they have the ability to.
Yep, that's true, man. I finally got to the tags there too myself, and seeing Chad Campbell second. I don't want to hop from golfer to golfer here like that, but seeing him second, man, that was I didn't actually expect that. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, I also I talked about the weather while you were or well no not while you had that was my
Oh
fault.
yeah. I want to know about that because I haven't even looked into that yet myself.
Yeah, I think it's better if we cover it at the end just because weather can change. But I talked
Right.
about me. I already have my player pool kind of set, and I didn't look at weather actually because I honestly I just like my golfers. I look at stats. I don't really take weather into consideration until the end, which is probably a bad idea. But you kind of have to because weather changes like that. So real quick, I mean, I just use Wind Finder because it's going down. It's going down. The golf tournament's in Oakville, Ontario, and Wind Finder has a little station in Oakville, so I'm using it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, nothing crazy though. No gust over 20 miles an hour, except in the early morning on Saturday, which we can't even control. Our guys just got to make the cut. So we're looking at like 23 mile per hour gusts, and that's max. They say 2 to 5 a.m. No rain really, except very early Thursday morning. Like it says, there's about a 20% chance. But that's like 2 a.m., 5 a.m., which might make the green slower. But at the same time, the wind like stops at like 4 to 5 p.m. local time, of course, not our time, but it is our time, same time, I think.
Yeah, there's Toronto, so isn't it? Like in the Toronto area?
Oh, yeah, it's just west of Toronto. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
My
so
apologies.
it
Yeah,
should be Eastern time zone as far as I know.
that's right. Yeah, so we're looking at not really, maybe a drizzle or two. So I don't know. I was mainly just targeting the wind because I completely agree with Kenny's stats there. I think par five scoring and just overall DK points is going to be big. Like guys that like Mickelson who like don't even par that much, just like he's not in the field, obviously I know, but just like birdie, bogey, birdie, birdie, bogey. Like that's better than par. Like Kevin Streelman, par, 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 par. Like Jim,
Right, or
par, par,
Stuart.
par.
Yeah, Stuart Sink lately.
Good old Stewie. Yeah. So
They're not crushing the points, and you know, like it's a whole every tournament's a different dynamic. Like with the Open, obviously, we thought it was just going to be a par fest, and it turned into like a web.com event on the weekend, which was ridiculous. I've never seen a major like that in my life. But yeah, I mean, before the tournament, you weren't thinking about that. It didn't seem like it was going to come to that, but it did. But this tournament, definitely, you want guys that are capable of making the birdies. You know, all the names that you always hear: Luke List, Finau, basically the bombers that.
right.
And it's not. Apparently, accuracy is really like a non-factor here. So they can just hit as hard as they want, and as long as their wedges are working, and they can sink a few putts, then they're going to be definitely lapping the field. A few of those, bombers anyway. Oh yeah, and I see Tone Loke mentioned what Sportsky play. I watched his video actually earlier. Those guys should not be chalk. Actually, the way he put it was those were like his 10% guys that he didn't want to like go over the same guys that everybody else is. Obviously, like DJ, Charlie Hoffman, all the top tier chalky guys. He was kind of mentioning his plays that he's going to be light on that he's throwing in his pool. So I wouldn't expect. I mean, you might see some Ben Martin. Obviously higher than usual. He's picking up some ownership. I've been hearing his name a lot more.
I think Patrick Rogers is going to be chalk. 50-1 odds at 7K, man. We could. I don't want to make a little side bet with you, but we can just do a little no ante little bet over under 15% Patrick Rogers. You taking the under?
Wait, what percent?
15.
Oh, 50. I think you said 50.
No, 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 no.
Over under 15.
Because a guy at 7K over 15% to me is chalk at 7K. So
yeah, no doubt. Let me see who's in that tier. So he's 7K on the dot. Yeah, he is. Yeah. See, trying to see who else I'm hearing in that tier. Obviously, Vegas is the defending champ, but his recent form hasn't been good at all. Very bad. Missing every cut. But you know what? He'll probably go out and make a cut here and do well. There's a couple guys like that can do that in these kind of fields.
That's true.
They don't do anything all year, and then they get to the tournament they like. You know, they're a horse for the course, and all of a sudden they're playing well. Yeah, I guess 15%, I would say over. I don't think, because based on what you have to go down to when you're taking these three guys, because the pricing is really top heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Time.
There's only 3 above 10K in Snedeker with Drew. I mean, you're going to see the top 5. Everyone above Furyk should be 20% owned, 25% owned maybe. I don't see how – the only one, Bubba, might be like 22, but he's definitely the lowest out of everyone up there. So
yeah, and there's really no way – I mean, I tried it a little bit. You can't take 2 of these guys.
Well, honestly, man, I think with this field I think with it, like my player pool, what I was doing was you can't take DJ and Finau and Bubba, but what I was doing, you can take Hoffman, Finau, Bubba, and then you have like 7,100. You could take Ollie, Patrick Rogers, and my boy Alex Sheshka. I hope I didn't give out a full lineup. I hope it's like $200 over because I can get in trouble. But yo, I'm gonna pull some shit like that. Like I'm gonna try to take 3 high priced guys that I think are just going to lap. Like I think DJ, Finau, and Bubba could do that, but I can't fit DJ with them. So I'm going to try to take the risk with Hoffman. I mean, he's next. So I don't know. Because I don't want to get too far into it. We'll get into it. But I really don't like anyone between 90, 100, and 83. But let's get into players if you're ready. Let's start up top if you're cool with that. You ready?
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to ask you, what's your prediction on the ownership on the top 3?
Oh yeah, that's what I mentioned. Oh, actually, no one heard me, so I couldn't have mentioned in the video. But yeah, I said all of them are going to be over 30%.
All of them. So there's going to be like in the big GPPs, each third of the field is going to have one. Is that how it's going to work?
I think so. In the huge GPPs, I think maybe I don't know. Yeah, I think they all cross 30.
Because I mean, really, I know what you just like I just said. You can't look what this leaves you with. Let me see. If you go, you got 68.75 left.
All right, I think every lineup starts like any sane lineup starts either Bubba, Finau, Hoffman, or up. You know what I mean? You're not starting Furyk or under. I'm sorry, unless you're. I don't know, in the 150 max, like lineup 148 and 149, 150.
I just want to completely fade one of these guys. I'm trying to figure out who it is.
Right.
Actually, I'm sorry, 3 of these guys.
I was fading Kuchar, but I don't know, man. It's tough. I'm in the same boat. I was fading Kuchar and Hoffman, but then I wanted to do Finau, Bubba, and DJ, and then go down to the bottom. Because I don't think the bottom's going to get that much exposure, and guys at the bottom have contended. So I do already have a small player pool, but I don't want to start going real low. So let's start up top. I'll just say real quick. Let's just go with the three guys above 10K there. I think the highest owned is going to be DJ. The only reason he might not is just I think it's Kuchar, just because Kuchar doesn't miss a cut, and if he doesn't win, there's a good chance you can roster whoever does win, unless it's DJ. You know what I mean? You could take Kuchar, Hoffman, but then you are going pretty low. But there's a good chance you can roster the winner if Kuchar doesn't. You know what I mean? He makes a cut. Like it could be anyone below him that wins. Like if you have Ben Martin, he could win the event. Cantley could win the event. You could take Kuchar and Cantley, so it doesn't kill you. You know what I mean? But so I like Kuchar, but it's 11-4 for me is a little too much for my taste. Hoffman at 10-3 just makes cuts. Let's look at some. I got some par 5 stats brought up here right now. So between 500 and 550, which is pretty much the main yardage there. There's one at like 557, I think, but neither here nor there. Let's see. First, they're all top 10. It's nuts. This is just for Glen Abbey. DJ is first. This is in the last 24 rounds. Obviously, let me actually change that to the last 12 rounds because this has only been golfed 3 years here. So, yeah, see, that's a big – oh, wait, sorry, guys. I'm using Fantasy National, and they just got a little glitch there. There we go. Okay, in the last 12 rounds, actually, Ches Reavie is number 1 in par 5s, not DJ. So that's weird. But in the last 24 rounds, DJ is number 1, followed by sorry, actually, it's just glitched out. Do you see my screen? Do you see my screen, or do you not?
No, it's still my screen on there, I think. Yeah.
All right, good. Yeah, it just glitched out. Like it says strokes gained. It's still in beta, so I can understand. But it says strokes gained, but I'm clearly on par 5 efficiency. That's weird. All right. So I was just looking at par 5 efficiency from 550 or 500 to 550, and it was the last 24 rounds. But it was I thought it was specific to Glen Abbey, but it might not have been. It might have been all courses. Let me just readjust because I know DJ is number 1.
I wanted to tell you a stat that is surprising.
What you got for?
I don't know if too many people realize. You know the rolling stats that I use?
You said the what?
That are actually the rolling stats that are like 5 and 10. They're from that Fantasy Jesus guy.
Right.
So he, instead of going through the whole year, you've got 5 and 10 tournament rolling stats, which is more accurate, I think, than looking at the whole season overall. So, like, here, take a look at this. Birdie or better, 10 tournament. Field rank, number 1, Grayson Murray. Number 2, tag ridings. I don't think there's going to be too many people on tag ridings. This guy misses, like, every cut, but in the Barbasol, he almost won it last week. And he's definitely playing some really good golf all of a sudden. And he leads in birdie or better. Well, he's not leading, but he's second in the field. And he was first in something else, which is pretty big here. It's hard to believe it. I mean, with all his missed cuts.
In his last 12 rounds, he is 17th in Eagles gained at only 6,500.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, he's a huge punt, but he can score. This guy can go low.
And that's not even this course. That's like his last 12 rounds, and so that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Has he, do you know, I mean, I can look it up real quick. Has he golfed at Glen Abbey before?
Yeah, I think he missed the cut 3 times, or he withdrew once and he missed 2 cuts. But the fact that he's coming off a near win and nobody's talking about him, I'm going to have to put him in a couple lineups. I mean, out of the 20 lineups that I have, I'm definitely going to throw him in a couple at least. Maybe have 10 to 20%.
Right. All right. Real quick. Let's stay up there at the top real quick. Just so
sorry.
No worries. I got the right stats brought up now. I wanted to bring up the par 5 efficiency and then also the birdie bogey ratios as well. And this is according just to Glen Abbey Golf Club, which again, I don't remember if I said this when people could hear me or they couldn't, but this tournament has only been golfed at Glen Abbey with 2013, 2015, and 2016. 2014, I think, was at this place called like Royal Montreal. Completely different course, par 70, doesn't relate whatsoever. So make sure your course history, you don't look at 2014. Luckily, if you do use Fantasy National, they don't even count that in course history. Like it's just black. So you don't even have, it's just scratched out. So you don't even have to worry about it. But I will say this real quick, Seth, you can take the floor right after that. DJ is 4th in Eagles gained. And Bubba Watson, I don't want to give away too much, is 1st, which is pretty weird. But then we have in that 10K and up range, Charlie Hoffman at 8th. And then it was Matt Kuchar, who's not known for his power, only 43rd, but still better than half the field, so not terrible. I'll go in order there just to list off for everyone else there. DJ is 4th in birdies gained, so he's 4th all around, 4th in eagles, 4th birdies, and 4th bogeys avoided. And then Kuchar is 2nd in bogeys avoided, which I think is going to be big if he can just keep stride with the birdies. He's one of those guys you just said, like, he's not going to be the bombers, but he's going to be he's not going to be the DK scorer, but he's going to probably contend like top 3. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But yeah, take the floor, man. What you got? Hoffman's not that good in those stats, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm actually looking. I've been looking for this. I finally found it. It's last year's ownership points scored for this event. So that's pretty cool. Let's see here. DJ doesn't have the finish, does it? Let me see.
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at my screen. Now I'm going to bring up Google Hangout so I can see yours. Here we go. All right.
I don't know why it doesn't.
DK points per game. Oh, this has got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, check it out.
So wait. Eagles they made too. And ownership.
Where's that? Where's last year?
Oh, you brought up Jared Detroit.
I was looking at him.
We're gonna, dude. I'm so lost on that. Like, he only has one. Like,
I know. I have no idea. I mean, he's a Canadian guy. He only plays this event, I guess. I think he plays on the Canadian tour, but I have no stat. His stats are not good. Like,
speaking of that, I don't remember this dude's name, but I'm a UNC guy. One of these UNC golfers got an invitation to the Canadian tour, so I don't remember his name, but shout out.
All right, so here we go. This will work. All right, so DJ came in T2, and let's see, he had 2 eagles and 20 birdies. As we know, what's his name? Vegas won, right?
Right.
Look at this. Vegas had no eagles. He's way down here. I mean,
23 birdies, 38 pars.
Yeah, so the winner here is not necessarily the end-all be-all. That's not really the guy you're looking for. If you go back here to where I was, you can find it. Got so many tabs here. Here we go. All right, so look at this. T4 gets 115 points. The next guy, let me sort it by this, actually. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I had it sorted by ownership. So, yeah, Vegas and DJ tied for points because obviously Vegas got the 30-point bonus for winning. But you look at these guys.
He got an extra 10 points, yeah, because DJ got 20 as well.
Did he get the full? Yeah, they all get 20, right? T4?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they got T2.
It was T2? It said T4 because there was somebody between them, right? Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. There were 3 guys tied for it. That's what it was. So, anyhow, all these guys got the 20 points. And I wanted to take Martin Laird this week, but obviously he's not playing because I was looking at him before I looked at the field. And I said, man, that guy's the guy to play. But he's not in it, so obviously he's not the guy to play. But let's look at a few more of these guys from what they did last year here. And we can also see the ownership, which is really cool because as we usually see, the top-owned guy is nowhere to be found on the weekend, but it was DJ. He actually came through as the top-owned play and put up basically the most amount of points right under Vegas. So in this event, you can take the guy that's the best in the world and not worry about it, I think. I'm not looking forward to fading DJ if I make that decision. His form is not the best right now, obviously. We know that. My only hope is if I did fade him, obviously I'd want him to play like shit. And then I'd be way ahead of the field if he wasn't there on the weekend. But, that's kind of like basically taking a huge gamble. Because the likelihood of him not being there in contention on Sunday with this field, he's got a real problem. I would start to get concerned for the guy. if he can't contend in an event at a field like this. Anyhow, so if you look here, we got Jason Day's not in it. Kuchar was the second highest owned guy. He came through. I mean, they all delivered. Like all the chalk, pre-tournament chalk, actually came through. Grillo didn't. Let's see.
Grillo, man, jeez. That mother trucker, dude. I played him last week and just watched him hit the fucking plus 12 or whatever. He shot 11 over par. But he was out there in like the second wave. He's out there in like 3 jackets. So like it was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. He was in bad shape. So let's see here. I'm looking for a guy that put up a lot of points that nobody was on, because maybe the same thing is going to happen this year. Is Streb in the tournament this year? No, he's not. They've been talking about him. Actually, I'll just sort it this way. It's a lot easier. Sort it by points.
JJ Spawn, 6th in Eagles gained on at Glen Abbey. Let me see what he did. Yeah, he got T41 in 2015. I think that was as an amateur, but I'm not entirely sure.
All right, so what do you want? Where did you want? You want to go back to the tiers and start at the top?
Yeah. What's your take on the top 3 guys there, real quick? Then we can go under.
Let me go back here then, so I have a screen with it in order.
Go ahead.
Man, it's tough. Those 3 guys, obviously, people were watching Kuchar for 10 hours, a day last week, and getting to see how good he can play, which everybody knows, but, he was on the world stage, basically. And I don't know. The thing about Kuchar that really pisses me off is that he doesn't know how to put pressure on anybody. He's a great player, but he's not like that guy that can just crush you, He's gonna back into a win, or somebody's gonna have to screw up for him to win.
Right. The only way Kuchar kills you is if DJ misses the cut. If you're on him, or Hoffman misses the cut and you're on him. If they both T1 or T2 or whatever, the other guy, like DJ or Hoffman's probably going to have more DK points.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I mean, Kuchar, as far as birdie or better, is way behind these 2 guys. Hoffman can put up tons of birdies.
Right. I did have a couple questions, not from anyone here, but from a couple of my friends asked me, did they think Kuchar might withdraw because the PGA Championship is next week, but it's really not next week. We have a week off. The PGA Championship is August 10th. There is no event next week, so nothing to worry about. I think Kuchar is good to go. People think he might withdraw. I was kind of skeptical, but the dude just cashes checks. There used to be a few straight cut makers, but Kuchar is taking the cake. So it's crazy. Like if you're on Fantasy National, you guys, and you click on his little profile, it's just straight green everything. Like recent tour events, 2nd at the Opens, T16 at the U.S. Open, T4 at the Memorial, T12 at the Colonial, T9 at the Byron Nelson. Then his record at the Canadian Open, T9 last year, T7 the year before, and in 2013 at T2. And just for shits and giggles, in 2014 at the other golf club, he got T4. So, I mean, Jesus. But you see, no wins, right? No wins.
Exactly.
You go look at DJ,
Adam Scott kind of
speaks
guy,
for itself. Right. So, sorry to interrupt you there, man. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. I was just pulling this up and seeing that, in the 10 tournament birdie or better rolling stat, he's 7th in the field. So let's see, who's the top guy here, according to this? Grayson Murray. Yeah, we looked at this. Okay, so Charlie Hoffman, just based on this, I'm gonna have to go with Hoffman, because I think Hoffman, of the 3, is going to be the lowest owned. Would you agree?
I honestly have to say no. I think it's Kuchar, but I'll answer in one sentence why. And I already told you a little bit earlier. It's You can fit Finau and Bubba with Hoffman. I think that is going to be a popular, not super popular. It's not going to be the most popular lineup construction, but that's the only guy above 10K that you can do that with. Like if you put in Kuchar, you're down to like 6,300, I think it is, or like 64 or 6,500, which is like the bare min, and you don't want to go that low. But yeah, I mean, that's it for me. I think that, but I still like Hoffman. I mean, the guy is almost as consistent.
Actually, where do I go for the tags? I've been meaning to ask you this.
Yeah, I got it up right here. So you go to Fanshare Pro. It makes you feel like you're gonna have to pay some money, but it really
that's what I thought. Okay. I was like afraid to even click on that because I figured they were just gonna ask me to sign up.
Right.
I mean, I am signed up, but I mean, like, subscribe. Okay, so we got DJ at the top, right?
Oh, obviously. Yeah, 51 tags. Yeah, and then Chad Campbell. That's why I was. But okay. Let's get into the plays real quick. We can we'll interlap.
Well, I'm looking at those. I'm looking at the tags for the top three, so I'm trying to decide on which one I actually would feel more comfortable going with. Based on what I think. I want to base it on how I'm going to see the ownership, because you see, you got three things going on here. You got one guy that's the best in the world, who's not at the form that everybody's used to seeing him. You got another guy who is not the most like sexy play in the world, Kuchar, but he's obviously playing out of his mind, but he doesn't win, and he's not beating these other two guys in birdies, or he doesn't have the potential to make the DK score that you need, because he's not making that kind of. His scoring doesn't come from the same kind of scoring that theirs does. He's more of a steady golfer that can make the scores that he needs, and then he doesn't give it back. Where these other guys are going low, and then they'll have a bad hole or two, but they'll make enough birdies and an eagle here and there to to make it okay. So it's not going to hurt them that bad. So in terms of scoring, I think obviously if DJ's on, he's going to have the highest DK score. But I think Hoffman could have that too. But then you make that point, which kind of scares me off him, that he's the third in the salary in the top tier, that he could be higher owned just based on that, because people could be fading the other two guys so they can fit in what they think is better plays in the mid-tier range.
Right, real quick, just to piggyback off the fan share things real quick. If you're big into green and red, you're just into pictures. Matt Kuchar has 27 starts and 5 sit tags, which equates to is equivalent to 84% start and 16% sit, which no other stud other than DJ, of course, at 17% sit, just because his form isn't there for the highest price guy. But Charlie Hoffman's takes the cake. 32 starts and only 3 sits. And if you look at the trend, they have a little trend side. If for everyone that doesn't see it, they have a little trend side that tells you if they're trending upwards or downwards. And Charlie Hoffman is trending upwards, with Ches Reavie and Chad Campbell trending downwards. So that makes me see that Chad Campbell is probably number 1 in trends, and now he's 2, which is pretty interesting, because Chad Campbell, I was not my first guess of chalkiest guy or top even 3 ownership of the week. So that's interesting.
So let me ask you a little bit about this. Where do they get all these, like, the tags? Where's it determined?
Guys like Kenny in Notorious, it's just different touts. Like if you go to the if you go to the trending, like the current trends, you'll see the guys that just posted there. So a guy named Andrew from Fanshare Sports, someone just posted a trend or a start for Seamus Power. Golf Savages 2 posted it, so I'll click on it. Let's see what comes up. It's Golf Gurus.
Yeah, he's got 0 sits. I mean, what's up with that? I mean, I know he's great. He can't putt. He's not a great putter. But you know, if he gets going, he can definitely make some noise. And at that price, in this field, he's
Yeah, they
going to be highly popular.
this is so for what it's worth, I just clicked on one of the tags and it took me to a Twitter page where they have a little thing about this is just normal betting. This isn't DK, but you can kind of apply it. Someone mentioned in the chat if they would play Johnny Ruiz, if I would play Danny Shelton and Johnny Ruiz. And I said I wouldn't in a 3-entry max. Well, this guy, Vegas betting is definitely a little different, but this guy is betting Johnny Ruiz at 250 to 1. So if he feels comfortable about throwing money on him, I'd throw him in a DK line, but not if you're only making 3. If you're kind of similar to Seth this week and making 20 or maybe even more than 10, I'd throw him in 1 even if you're making 10.
You mean this guy here, Gerardo Ruiz?
Let me see your screen real quick. Let me see here. Yes.
Never even heard of this guy. Mexican guy?
Oh, no. Sorry. You said, okay, wait, I have not heard of him either. And yeah, that stands for Johnny. I should know that. I took Spanish. Yeah, Gerardo is Johnny's.
Okay.
Yes.
But
I should know that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got nobody looking at him, right?
Yeah, he's a local actually. He mentioned that he played on the Mackenzie Tour, which is like the second class tour for Canadians. Like it's like the web.com for us.
Interesting.
So let's see here 1 second. Yeah, Jordan made an interesting comment saying, I don't see a lot of people playing Cooch when they can get DJ for a little more and Hoffman for a lot less. That makes sense. And then he commented when we showed the touts or like the tags, which are from touts. He said, "Touts saying to fade. I like Cooch in the spot. Recent form is amazing, and Charlie Hoffman is great." Or I mean, course history, not Charlie Hoffman. Holy shit! I just immediately I don't know. And then he said, "Look at starts too." And he said, "No way he's playing a chalky Seamus Power. I don't think Seamus Power is going to be super chalky. I think he'll be under 10%. I don't see him crossing that, but." Yeah, he plays on the Mackenzie Tour, which is basically the Canada Tour. He said, Joe said about Johnny Ruiz. So if he's playing on a local, I can kind of dig it. It's kind of like the Jared Dutoit guy, but we need to get into like we'll get down there. We'll get in down there.
Yeah.
So let's go down below 10K now, and you can start this time since I started the last one.
All right, so obviously, Finau is going to be wildly popular.
He's going to be the highest owned guy on the slate.
Yeah, for many reasons. I mean, he absolutely kills these types of courses.
But would you believe me if I told you in his last 12 rounds at Glen Abbey, which is actually only 8 rounds he's only golfed, he's 105th in Eagles gained?
Really?
Yes, he finished T70 in 2016 last year. He stayed all 4 rounds. In the first round he's a T83, so he struggled in the first round. In the second round he picked it up and got to T21, and then he finished at T70. So that's the cut line. So he finished last. Out of the cut makers, of course. He got T22 in 2015, so that's not bad. But obviously, if you look at his recent form, I think that trumps. Let me make sure I'm sharing your screen. I'm presenting. Real quick, everyone, do you see Seth's screen? Whoever can comment,
yeah,
because I'm looking at your screen. Yeah, I'm looking. All right, then they should see it because I'm looking at yours too. Perfect. You're looking at Finau. Yeah, awesome.
I thought he had a win. Was it last season?
Yeah, he hasn't won this year yet.
Right. Which I don't know. The guy, he can put up a ton of points, but he can also put up 21 points. Well, that was the players, but I just think he's kind of a decent fade because of the fact that he's going to be. I mean, if he wasn't going to be as high owned as we think he is, which is like I agree with you, 1 or 2. I don't know. I just want my highest owned guy to have at least an opportunity to win. And since he hasn't yet this season, I don't know if he's worth it, especially at that price. there's other guys that are pretty similar. And like you said, his what was it, the Eagle stat? Eagles gained?
105th, yeah.
Yeah, that's not really
It's only 8 rounds
good
tournaments, but still, yeah, that's Bubba's number 1. So in comparison, and the same amount of rounds, both golfed 8 rounds.
I would imagine Danny Lee's got to be right up there because this guy used to make eagles like they were birdies. What does it say for him?
All right, one second. I just clicked on all courses, so I got to go back to Glen Abbey, but I got you because I was going to look at some par 5 efficiency just on all courses. Let me see. It's not. There we go. All right. Lee. He's 11th in Eagles gained, but he's only golfed 4 rounds. Because I'm searching my last 12, and it was only last year, and he made the cut. Barely made the cut at the end of round 2. He was a T62, which might have been right on the cut line if there were more than 8 guys tied. But yeah, finished 32nd, so not bad.
Yeah, it's that guy. If you go back like a year or two, you wouldn't believe how many eagles he used to make. He was like an eagle machine.
You see what Jordan put in the comments there for you?
Let's see.
I don't know personally.
Yeah. I'm glad you did mention something I have said before, and I almost forgot. That's true. Finau has been chalky before. Actually, let me bring up that spreadsheet because he's. Oh, by the way, this is real quick. It's a little off topic, but I ran this little spreadsheet for the Open, and I posted some of it. I haven't even finished it yet, but this is the winners and the year prior. They've never been better than 40th. Spieth he finished 30th in 2016, but the only guys who have ever done better were back-to-back winners, which were Tiger and Harrington. There was, let's see here, Harrington. Here we go. So it's pretty interesting, actually. Tiger went 9th, first, and even before Harrington won his first one, he missed the cut. So just something I'm going to definitely keep in my mind for next year. I don't think it applies to any other majors. I haven't really looked, but I just kind of looked it up, and I was curious to see how these guys did in the previous Open. And it's a pretty strong trend going back to 2003 at least. It might even go back further. I don't know. But every single winner has been outside the top 40, except for Spieth. He finished 30th, but it's pretty interesting, I thought. Anyway, let me pull up that other spreadsheet with the weak field and also the chalkiness. Chalk factor.
Our boy Wee Kim's going to be in the field.
Yeah, that's true. He's a guy to definitely consider in these kind of events.
He finished T38 last year. He's been terrible so far. In his last 3 events, got cut at the Greenbrier, withdrew from the Quicken Loans, and got cut at the Travelers. But at the U.S. Open, got T50, and then at St. Jude at T2. Definitely going to be under 2%.
All right, so check this out. This is let's see when Finau has been chalk. Actually, all right here in the Valero Texas Open, he was the highest owned player, and he put up 104 DK points. So thank you, Jordan, for reminding me about that, because I completely forgot. And it's not the only time. It was there was one more time. Let me see. I guess it's all I put down here. But I know that there was a recent tournament actually where he was very high owned, and he still did pretty well. I could probably figure it out here real quick. I think it was the Greenbrier. he put up 92 points, and he was really high owned.
I believe it. The field wasn't that
yeah,
strong.
let me
It had to be.
go to the ownership for that week. It was around right here, I believe. I wish the ownership went back far enough that I could see everything, but at least I can on Fanatics. It has it. All right, here we go. In 33, he was top owned guy, put up 92 points. So, yeah, he's one that kind of bucks the trend because he's done it twice. So maybe we should feel pretty safe about taking Finau and not have to fade him.
Right. I don't think you need to fade him. His game, instead of just being a bomber, I think he's becoming more of a all-around golfer now. I don't know. I think the U.S. Open really showed that. I don't think it would have done that well if he was just still, or not the U.S. Open. I mean the Open. My apologies. The Open Championship out there in Royal Birkdale last week. To me, if he's not 10K, I'm gonna play him. I don't see why not. Hasn't missed a cut since the Players. Still finished positive in strokes gained tee to green, off the tee approach. Just finished -6 strokes putting. His putter was cold, and then they don't come out with stats for the Open. All we have is strokes gained total. But if you look at the Greenbrier, he was 4.8 strokes gained on putting, which is the best he's had all year, which could be just how easy putting was or that he's turning a corner. So he is going to be very high owned. So if you think it was a fluke, maybe fade him. But I don't know. I'd rather fade Bubba if I wanted to fade one of them, just because Bubba is so inconsistent and Bubba's still going to garner. Like he's a course horse if you look at it, but finishing T2, I think last year, 2015. I think it was 2015. Yeah, he didn't golf this last year. You're still going to see Bubba at over 20%. And if you're going to fade one, I'd gladly fade Bubba over Finau. But I kind of fall for the course history, especially with Bubba since he's coming back. I kind of like them both. So I can't choose one or the other. If you had to choose one or the other, which one would you choose, man? Then we can hop down to below 9K unless you got anyone else. But
between Bubba and Finau?
Yeah, and then anyone else you want to cover at the 9K range, but those are the only two.
I'm gonna have to go with Finau over Bubba. I think Bubba is a little like real volatile, actually.
Oh yeah, he is. No doubt about it.
Yeah, he's been playing well. He's been definitely his form has been improving, but just a few weeks ago, people were like, "No way, man! I'm not touching that guy." Now all of a sudden, the guy's going to be like chalk. I don't know. I kind of want to stay away from that. Plus, even though he's been playing better, he's been trending up. His best finish was last week, and it was a 27th. So, he's not really destroying tournaments. He's not putting up a ton of points. The Memorial, he did really well, but he's still got those missed cuts in him, and I think there's still a possibility that could happen anywhere. Is it likely to happen here? Probably not. He had a second and 21st, but he did miss the cut prior to that twice in a row. What was the year that it wasn't here? It was 2009, right?
2014.
Oh, 20. But didn't they? Aren't they rotating this tournament like every few years?
Yeah, it has been rotating for like the last 29 years or something. But like it's mainly been the Glen Abbey recently. I've honestly I'm only looking at the last 3 years because most of these guys are young. I mean, but that's just me. So I don't remember beyond that. I just memorized that it's 2013, 15, and 16 because those are the years I'm looking at. But real quick, I do want to say that Bubba isn't that high in tags on Fanshare Sports, depending on how. This is based in Canada. The website's from Canada, where the course is going. So might not have that many people. I don't know, but only has 15 tags. Let me just make sure it's 15 total and not start because I could be glitching that. 15 total. 11 starts, 4 sits, 73% to 27%. That's not very much for 9.4K. I mean, we look at Finau. 48 tags, 40 start tags, and 2 sits. So we found the highest owned guy on the slate. So it's I'm on Finau still. That doesn't take me off, and I'm pretty sure you're in the same boat. I think based off what Jordan brought up as well.
Yeah,
So
I think I'm with you on that.
like I think that I could almost make the cash line like. I think there's going to be so many duplicates in cash. Maybe not down low. I think we might veer, but it's going to be like DJ, Finau, Cantley, and then fill in two guys like Ollie or Patrick Rogers. Anyway, let's get into that below. Actually, real quick, I do want to make one point about Jim Furyk. I think you can play him in cash games, just because if you look at his bogeys avoided, I think he's number 1 at this course. So even if he pars, and he's going to get birdies, he can birdie. The par 5s, he's almost guaranteed to birdie. It's just if he's going to be able to eagle. From what I've heard, supposedly most players are getting to the par 5s in 2 or should. I'm not big on Jim Furyk's price tag. I didn't want to see him anything above 8,500. So I'm not going to be playing him. But I think I'm not playing cash. But if you want to play him in cash, let it fly, I guess. I think you can play him. But that's it for me there. No Kevin Chappell for me this week. 9K is too much. I mean, he's very volatile. We saw that at the Open last week. I played him and missed the cut on me. So you have any take on them? And if not, just slide down to that 85 to 9K range if you want.
Well, just based on what you just said about Chappell, I was just thinking about him before you got into him. I think a lot of people are going to feel that way. And I'm going to have a little bit of him because he's definitely got the potential.
Well, he's missed his last two. He's missed his last 2 cuts, and in this event, he missed a cut in 2015 and 2013. He second and last out of the cut makers. T68. Yeah, man. I mean, I feel you though. He's going to be the lowest owned guy. Like, if you had to put anyone under 10% from 9K up, it's Kevin Chappell. Like, he's definitely the lowest owned guy out of that whole range. And I do want to just say that his stats are bad in terms of scoring. 89, obviously, if he's missed the cut, but 89th eagles gained, 103rd birdies gained, 99th in double bogeys avoided. So it's definitely a play to get him back on track. And obviously, golfers are like that. It's a very high variance sport, just like baseball. I mean, you're going to see guys that do poorly for 3 weeks and all of a sudden snap out of it, and you can want to hop on it that week. But usually it's only the guys that can burn the money that do that. And I think Kevin Chappell, actually, we've seen him win. He won 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks ago. It's not like he's like just finishing in the 20s over and over again. He can win. So
right,
I can see it. It makes sense,
again,
especially under 10%.
Yeah.
But go ahead, man. My fault.
I'm sorry. You did make a good point about his scoring. You know, unless he hits like a top 5, he's not getting you a whole lot of scoring. Because look at this. 23rd, 69 points. 55. I mean, he got you 95 here, but it was a 4th. So his position is everything. Even a 7th. Oh, that was at Augusta. I mean, it depends on the tournament, obviously. But
and shot a terrible Saturday. If you look at that, 76. So he probably barely skated there, but then finished with a 68. So might have been poor weather on Saturday. Or no?
Yeah, I mean, after you're telling me like his scoring stats, it's not really attractive.
Right. But hey, I mean, it's a complete game theory play. If you want a guy under 10% owned and want to take and we take whoever you want and don't worry about ownership, Kevin Chappell's your guy. You just got to understand if you go to bed at 3 or 4 in the morning tonight and wake up and Kevin Chappell's in 152nd place at +6, like, he can do that. But then you can also wake up in the morning and have him -6 with 2 birdie streaks and be like, what the fuck? So he's one of those guys similar to Daniel Berger where he can show or he can fail and flop. So 9K was just a little too much for me. I would definitely have a share or two at about 83, maybe 85, just because I would still be able to fit 2 of these high-priced guys. But You can't do that with Chappell, and I don't think his value is worth anyone above him, and arguably Keegan Bradley. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think I'd take Keegan Bradley over Kevin Chappell right now.
Well, look at this. Of all the guys from the top down, this is points per game in the last month. And they're all like, at least here, even DJ, who hasn't been playing great, 50, 94, 72, 71. You get to Chappell, 19.8. It's kind of scary.
You and I could do that, bud.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go pretty far down to find a guy that is that bad. I don't even see anybody. So I think I'll lay off of him. Like here, Hadwin. You could put him in the same group as Hadwin.
Yeah, Hadwin's been atrocious this month.
Definitely. So, yeah, I don't know if I necessarily want to take a guy that's trending that badly. I mean, a few minutes ago, I was like, yeah, he might be a good play. But now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, there's really no reason to. It's not a really good strategy to take him. Could probably do better with Keegan.
Right. All right. So, so let's just go from 9K or 8,900 down to, maybe we can cover the whole range if you want. I mean, it's going to be, let's just cut it at 84. So Harris English up to Bradley, and then because I kind of want to talk about Danny Lee. That little range from 8 to 8.2 is going to be talked about probably more than 8.3 to 8.9. So we can take a couple of those names up. So you take it. You can start it, man. What you got from?
I was kind of like disappointed when I heard how chalky Poulter has become, because I really liked him this week, but I'm just afraid like he's going to be over-owned and
with no course history as well. So
yeah, and not really. He's not a big-time scorer either. You know, I mean, if you look at his birdie or better, it's not good at all. So I think I'm probably going to fade Poulter now after thinking that he was going to be one of my higher exposures, because I just think he's going to be really chalky. And he's got that ability to he's been playing really well in these big events. Then he gets in like these mediocre events and he doesn't do so well. Like here, the British 14th, Scottish 9th. He's actually had a pretty good season, but still, if he comes in 42nd, 45th, that's not doing you any good.
Right.
I mean, here anyway, at all. You can't afford.
Yeah, that price.
I mean, that means he's not making any birdies if he's coming that far down. And I don't know. He's just a guy that I'm not feeling that good about anymore.
Yeah, Poulter in his last 24 rounds is 100th. This is all courses, not just golf at Glen Abbey. 100 or 100th in eagles gained, only 71st in birdies gained. But he is very good at bogey avoidance. Only fifth in, he is fifth in bogey avoidance and seventh in double bogey avoidance. So
right, and that's what makes these guys look better than they are.
Right. He doesn't score good points, but he's not scoring bad points. So he's like Kevin Streelman. Like, I'm going to search Streelman. Oh, he's not in the field, so they probably don't have him in. Yeah. They don't have him on Fantasy National, so I can't search him. I probably have to change the event to it. I don't want to glitch this thing out. So, but that sounds like Kevin Streelman stats. Like, doesn't score a lot of birdies or eagles, but does not bogey. Like,
yeah, like Stricker is similar to that too.
Right. Yeah, Furyk, 106th in birdies gained, 54th in doubles avoided.
Yeah, they're really good course management guys. They know how to get around and not get in trouble, and you'll see them on the weekend a lot, but they're not tearing it up. You know, you're not seeing a whole lot of fist pumping out of these guys, you know?
Right.
Because they're just they're hanging with the pack because they're not making the mistakes. Whereas these other guys, they'll go like 3-4 birdies in a row, then they'll have double or triple bogey because they're just playing overly aggressive, and that's what you need on a course like this. I'm going a little lower here, but I was looking at delay.
Yeah, Graham Dillette. Yeah, he's got a. Oh, I forgot to mention it. This event is sponsored by RBC. We have a lot of guys, including Matt Kuchar. There's 7 of them total, I think, maybe 6 now with Snedeker's withdrawal, that are RBC sponsored guys. And you always kind of got to look like they got a little extra incentive. I don't know any true factual details if they get extra money since it's a sponsored event, but they want to look good for their sponsor. Kuchar wears the RBC hat every week, like it's his sponsor. So there's other guys, and you mentioned Graham Dillette. He is also one of them, and he just happens to be Canadian. So all the narratives are on his side. But go ahead,
man. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, Ben Martin. I'm hearing his name a lot.
Yeah, we were gonna go down to that 80. Like we're gonna separate that 8,200 range.
Oh, we're still up here in the 9,000 to like 83.
89 right? To like 83. I know it's empty in my opinion. I'm not touching any of those guys. Especially if Walters, like you said, is going to be chalky. No, thank you. He's just a course manager, pretty much. Like I played him last week, and I got like the -3, and I was waiting for him to have that big round, and it just never came. So, I will say this though: in all, what is it? On all courses, Birdie's gained in his last 24 rounds. Shane Lowry is second, only behind DJ in his last 24 rounds. The problem is Eagles, he's 98th, but he's been playing on the Euro Tour mainly the last couple months, and the Euro Tour aren't really their golf courses aren't really known for huge bombing angles or just like they're more precise links courses mainly, and also just general like tougher but shorter courses. And Shane, obviously, the Eagles aren't going to be that high for him, so. I do like the birdies though, and he's known to be a good ball striker. I mean, not a ball striker, but a driver. So I could get behind some Shane Lowry, especially if he's under 10%, which I think he would be. He's been playing pretty well. Let me check his stats here or not his stats, but his recent events here. He got cut at the Open, T46 at the U.S. Open, T15 at the Memorial. So he hasn't been playing in Europe. I swear I saw him in the. Let's see.
Kuchar and DJ both missed the PGA last year.
I think so. It was.
They must have. I mean, that's what it's showing. Because I'm looking at the week after this event or the tournament after this event in order to see what happened the week prior, and it's listing the missed cuts. And DJ and Kuchar both must have missed. I don't even remember that. Finau missed. I mean, this is big names here that didn't do so well.
Right, and then so for me in that 8.5 to 8.9 or in that area, that's just it would only be if I'm throwing a punt, it would be Shane Lowry or maybe Keegan Bradley, but none of those guys are even starred. I don't have them in my player pool. It's just if I'm looking at stats, like in the last 24 rounds, Shane Lowry, fairways hit. Here he's fairways gained, which is fairways hit. He's 13th, 8th in good drives gained, 11th in green and regulations. Driving distance 52nd, which is better than average. He's 52nd. That's better than there's like 142 in the field or something like that, 152 or something. Jim Furyk's 140th, just to tell you how many people there are. So he's probably dead last. So I like that actually. All of his stats are green. The only thing is he's not very good out of bunkers. His sand saves. This does have a lot of sand as well. I was listening to the close your ears, everybody. The Roto Grinders podcast. No, I'm just kidding. But I was listening to their little podcast, which was STL Cardinals and Gibb and the guy from Colorado, Devin. Brian Devonshire is his name. This dude, he was telling me that there's a lot of. We're telling everyone in the video that there's a lot of sand bunkers. You got to watch. You got to hit the ball well. You can be a ball. You can smash it, but you also have to be a little bit accurate. It's not completely irrelevant. So I do worry a little bit, but I'm not going to take it or like that's not the deciding factor for me if a guy can't hit out of the bunkers like that. you're not even looking at that. You're not taking a golfer to even think about the bunker. So I can get behind some Shane Lowry. I might even add him to my pool. I'm not too sure. It's just a stats. I'm more of a stats guy, and these are pulling out to me. I mean, 8th good drives gained. That looks good to me. I think he can get those eagles too. Shane Lowry, he's definitely got an eagle. So, but that's about the only guy I'm going at there. A lot of people were on JB, and some people are on Harris English. I think you can punt Harris English and JB, but they are both over 129th on tour in fairways gained. Harris English is 141st. This is the last 24 rounds. JB Holmes is 130th. Good drives gained. JB Holmes is 116th. Harris English not so bad at 64th, so above average, barely. Not looking good for them. I will say that JB Holmes is 12th in driving distance, though, with Harris English 32nd. So if you're playing the Bombers narrative, I can see you doing that. And Kevin Chappell as well is 21st up top. I just wanted to mention that as I didn't cover that earlier. And he's 3rd in green regulations his last 24 rounds. So it's interesting. But let's go down to that 82 range. And Ben Martin, we both like. So you can take it first, man.
All right, let me go back here.
Oh, Wilmer Flores.
Yeah, so Ben Martin, he's got one missed cut here, right? He only played here one time. It's really all about his recent form, pretty much.
Right.
That's what all the hype is on him.
I got to bring up my tab. I have because I was looking at just all courses, and I have so many tabs open. I got to find the one that had Glen Abbey. Let's see here. That's 24 rounds. That's 12. All right. Sorry, what was that? What you asked me to look at for again? What was that? Oh, Ben Martin. All right, good stuff.
Yeah.
My fault. I can't believe it. Yeah. So real quick, he has only 2 rounds, so he missed the cut. But he is 8th in Eagles gained. But he missed the cut bad last year. He finished 142nd. But it's only recent form that you're looking at. That's what you're playing Ben Martin on, pretty much. Right. There's no course history. So it is good that he did get some Eagles. You did have last year's stats brought up. Do you still have that open by chance?
Yeah.
Could you sort by Eagles again and see if he got 1 or 2? Because to be ranked 8th in only golfing 2 rounds. We're not smoking 2 holes. 2 rounds. That's pretty gnarly, to be honest.
Let's see here. Shane Lowry. Wait, did he play last year?
I'm talking about Ben Martin. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was looking at Shane Lowry a minute ago. That's why. If
you want to press Control F and just type Ben, that's what I just use Control F nowadays. Yeah.
Ben Pollen. So was he in the event last year?
Yeah, it says 2016.
Okay, hold on. Let me see what's going on here.
Let me just double check.
Oh, you know what? I'm in the PGA. So hold on one second. Let me pull up another one of these. Course trends. Let me go to the spreadsheet.
Oh yeah, keep it easy, Joe. Joe's heading out, so yeah, no worries, man. We know we're a little late here, so
all right.
My apologies.
Yeah, Joe. Thanks for hanging around. Good luck.
Yeah, Jordan had a couple comments there. I just got to he said the Let's course history is awful. Miscut, withdraw, miscut last 3 times of this course. That's true, and I don't understand why his odds are better than 50-1. They got him at 45. I'm not gonna bet him. I'm not gonna play him either. But he's got that little narrative like RBC being Canadian. good ball striker as well. So
What the hell's going on here? All right, so
yeah, Ben Martin.
yeah, I'm trying to see his Eagles though. I would have to go to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go to the spreadsheet from last year. Let me just go to that, and it'll tell me.
Speaking of Ben Crane, I was thinking about playing him too. Honestly, 6,700. We've seen him priced in the 8Ks this year, so that was for no-name event as well, which is similar to this one.
Did you hear anything about the correlation between this event and Farmers Insurance?
No, I didn't. I actually this week I took an approach that I haven't done where I actually only listened to the very first Mayo podcast, and then I decided, you know what? Instead of listening to like golf like touts, I was going to do my own research, make my own plays, and at the very end, I would listen to one podcast that I trust. Is actually Fantasy Golf Insiders on Twitter. He does a Periscope. He just rapid fires, and he kind of just he'll say one or two sentences about it. And if I'm on a teeter, like that's usually where I'm at. I'm on a teeter, one guy or the other, and he makes a valid point, I probably go with it. It's like right before I make my lineup. So I've decided to do that this week. So no, I haven't listened to any touts. So I don't know. I don't know about the correlation. I didn't research it myself either. I've mainly just been looking at specific course history since we have a few years. If only had 1 year course history, I'd do it. But for three years plus for the older guys, I decided not to. But go ahead.
I'm gonna have to just look at it this way because he didn't play in the PGA, so that's why I'm not finding him. But I'll find it right here. Let's see.
Well, that would make sense. No wonder. Yeah, because I felt like he's fresh.
Wait, how come I'm not finding him? I mean, did he miss the cut? Yeah, he missed the cut, right?
Yes.
They don't show guys that missed the cut on ESPN. They might on PGA.
Well, press leaderboard instead of play. Oh, okay, never mind. It's all right.
Actually, yeah, I could do that, but it's not going to show his Eagles. Well, I'd have to look through each round. Let me see. All right, let's see here. 2 rounds.
Then Eagle
3 birdies in round 2. He had 1 eagle.
Only 1 eagle.
Horrendous first round.
Holy smokes! 5 straight birdies. I mean bogeys.
No, bogeys and then double, and then he started the 10th with a birdie and forget about it.
Right. Dang, that's crazy. And he's being talked up. This could be a fade, I think. I mean, I don't know. He's in such good form right now, but
well, let's see. Let me check something. Let's see how he played the week before this event, which would have been the British, right? Did he play in that? RBC Canadian Barbasol. Did he either play in the Barbasol or the Open? Let's see.
It was the John Deere was his last event.
Last year?
Oh, no. Sorry.
No.
Last year.
Yeah. All right. So last year he actually had a T44 the week prior, and he almost shot 4 rounds in the 60s. Wait, that's Ben Crane. Wrong Ben. It's like, that's not him. Let me find him here. If I had him. T20. There he is. Wow, nice. 4th round. Nothing but birdies.
Oh.
Yeah, he played really well the week prior. And you said he played in the John Deere. How did he do in John Deere?
Oh, no, that was 20. That was for this year. Sorry. No.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, like...
Oh, his correlation. Good stuff. Yeah, 39th in the John Deere. Not the best strokes gain stats. Did do very well putting, though. 4.8 strokes gain putting.
So basically, he's playing well the week before this event, and he came in here and he played like crap. So what does that tell you?
Well, to be honest, he hasn't missed a cut since the RBC Heritage, the Shell Invitational. So
all right, let's see.
Let's got a 30th at the Players, 5th at the Quicken Loans.
Let me look at his 16 schedule and see how
I just think at 8,200, it's a good price. That's why people are touting him up, and I think you can get away with it. He has top 5 upside at 8,200.
He had a really good year last year, but look at this. Out of nowhere, he just misses cuts. John Deere.
Yeah, in 2015, he got 4th in the Players. Whew.
Well, I'm looking at 2016.
Yeah, no,
and,
I just
and you can see like a lot of good finishes here. And then out of nowhere, he'll just totally blow it.
Yeah, he got 2nd in the John Deere last year.
Yeah, I mean, he came in here with 3 made cuts, a 20th right before it, and then he missed the 2 cuts in a row, actually. And then he went, wait, I'm going the wrong, no, I'm going the right way. Yeah. So if you base it on this, there's no guarantee this guy's gonna like go off out there. He's streaky.
Right.
But it's another year, you know. I'm just basing it on what he did last year.
He does have 0.5. It's not a lot, but 0.5 strokes gained, or 0.4 strokes gained at the RBC Canadian Open on that par 5 because of the eagle. Not the best stat because he only did it 1 year. So
yeah, and he didn't play all 4 rounds.
That's right. So yeah, let's try to move it on a little bit just because I'm a little sleepy. That's like
I got 20 lineups to make too.
Oh, you haven't made them yet? Oh man.
No.
Oh man, I feel that. All right, so
yeah, it's all right. I'll have a tight pool. It'll be pretty quick.
Right, I feel that. So for me, I'll just sum up the AK like for myself real quick. I'm playing Ben Martin. I'm playing Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantley's at 28-1 odds at 8,100. I'm just gonna play it. He's a good golfer anyway. Top 20 or top 30. It's hard to list stats because he only golfed 6 events. In recent, actually, I want to look at his last 50 rounds and see what he's got real quick. But anyway, while I do that, I am not playing Robbie Shelton because I'm only running a few lineups. Grayson Murray, I am fading this week because he won the Barbasol Invitational. I don't know, a guy like him, he could be out there sniffing coke and fucking hookers. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't trust him.
Yes, if he goes out there in top 5, he's a bomber though. He's like top 5 on tour in distance, but
he could be very sneaky actually. But I don't know if I want to take that shot.
Real quick, I do want to just say Patrick Cantlay is the last tournaments he played was the Memorial, and then the Players, the RBC Heritage, and the Shell. So we have a very big gap of tournaments played, but finished T22 at the Players, T35 at the Memorial, T3 at the Heritage. Second at the Valspar. So hasn't missed a cut since the Wyndham 2014 event. Oh boy,
and
that is good.
Who were you talking about?
I'm
sorry, I was
Patrick
in the middle of something. Oh, okay.
In 2014, he missed a cut. He got finished T118, and that was during.
He's like top 4 favorite, right?
Yes, he's tied. I got it right up here. Let me just refresh it, just because I don't know if it auto refreshes if I'm on it. DJ, Kuchar, Finau, then Hoffman, then it's a tie. So he's a C5 with Bubba tied for odds. And then it's a huge jump to Danny Lee at 40. So they're at 28, Bubba and him. Hoffman 25, Finau 22. So, yeah. That already tells you Finau is going to be the highest owned on the slate, in my opinion. But, and whoa, Kevin Chappell just got heavy odds, bro. Whoo! He just went to 30-1. He's right in line. I'm gonna share my screen real quick before this shit fixes. Hold on 1 second. He's lined. All right, fucking A. Let me see real quick.
What was he before?
50.
Wow, that's a big drop.
Or 45. He was 45. But right in here, you see my screen by chance?
No, I think we're still seeing like mine on delay. Not Graham delay, on a delay. Just to avoid any confusion here. I don't know why it doesn't switch over to yours. I thought it's like voice activated when you talk. So there you go.
Oh, you see it?
Something's coming up. Well, it doesn't look like any. There you go.
Yeah, Kevin Chappell's right here. 30-1 is odds move. So he's sandwiched between Keegan at 45 and Ollie at 50. So he was in that range, and he's jumped all the way to 30. So he's moved up to Danny Lee territory.
Big money's coming in on him.
That is weird. Because we just listed terrible stats for him.
Yeah, somebody's listening, and they're fading us.
And they're betting 250 grand on him to move his odds that much.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's weird. I'm still not going to play him. Sorry. I mean, I know I said I'm
No.
a Vegas guy, but man, there's
Yeah, I
so
don't
many
think so either.
golfers out here. That doesn't make me like. I don't know. No, I can't do it, man. They got Poulter at 45, no way. Jim Furyk at 40, no. All right, so
No, I got a few bets in actually.
I'm broke.
I'm not gonna go through them, but yeah, I got
I've
several.
put my whole bankroll on Floyd Mayweather. I hate the guy. Like, I don't support him whatsoever. He's a wife beater, a woman beater, but
Oh man, you should
McGregor
wait.
doesn't stand a chance. Neither one stands a chance in their own game. Like, if Mayweather goes to UFC, bro, it's no one's gonna watch that shit. Like,
Yeah, but you should, if you're going Mayweather, you should have waited.
No, Mayweather right now I got it at minus 550. Now he's at minus 600. He started at minus 500. He opened, I thought it was.
I thought it was moving more in favor of McGregor.
Here, guys. Shit, fuck it. Show it live on stream. You said it. Let's see it. I got it right here. Boxing. Floyd's minus 550. McGregor's plus 375. What they did was McGregor was at like plus 450 with Floyd at minus 550. But since so much money was coming on McGregor knockout, they decided to move the prop down to plus 375 in favor of McGregor. But anyway, yeah. So back to golf though, guys. Just to show the sweatshop, we do it fucking all, boys. So anyway, what's your take on Cantlay, Danny Lee? Real quick, Danny Lee's gonna be in my lineup since I didn't talk about him. Don't have a true take on him. I think he's fine. He tweeted that his injury. He didn't disclose what kind of injury it was. He just said on Twitter a few days ago that, hey guys, my injury's fine. I'm ready to go. That was pretty much all he said, and that's all good for me. At 8K, I'll take the risk. He's top 10, like 3 out of the last 5 or 6 events.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing great. That withdrawal just burned a lot of people, and hopefully he's telling the truth.
So it's up to you.
I like
on those guys, Cantlay and Danny Lee, and I think there's one other guy at 8K sandwich in there, or is it just
what's the deal with Cantlay? Is he playing on web.com, or what's the story there? Why does he have
Cantlay? No, he's on the PGA. He just doesn't. He
hasn't played an event then since the Memorial.
Yeah, he's. I don't know, man. No one knows. It's just that's like no.
Doesn't make any sense, man. I mean, you're taking a guy that's been off for 7 weeks.
I am. Yes. The dude is dude. That's what he's been doing. He's taking weeks. That's what he does. Like he has like 9 tournaments golf since like 2015. Not more than that, but like.
Well, I mean, we just saw it done. You know, Koepka played pretty damn well for not playing since the U.S. Open. So it's not like you need to be out there every week. Although some guys are slow starters. Like Furyk played like shit for about 7 weeks before he made a cut after his layoff. So you never know from one guy to the next how they're going to play. But you say he does this all the time. I haven't followed him that closely. Of course, I've heard of him plenty, but I didn't realize that he's like one of those guys that plays 4 events a year.
Actually,
I thought he was on another tour.
Yeah, I'm looking at his last 24 rounds, and it goes all the way down to the Pro-Am. So he hasn't golfed in has been taking some time off. The Pro-Am was a while ago. Valspar, the Shell, the RBC Heritage.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. He hasn't played.
Hilton Head tournament was at least 4 months ago. 3 months ago, maybe. So anyway, let's get. Man, I'm gonna make. You got to make more than me. So yeah, man. So real quick, so you're on Danny Lee as well?
Yeah, I'm on Danny Lee.
No Grayson Murray as well?
No.
Yeah, me either. All right, so down. Let's just go 7.5. So let's stop at there's a lot of guys. Let's go 7.6 to 7.9 there. Just real quick, Nick Taylor. He's sponsored by RBC as well. He's just like Graham Dillette, Canadian, sponsored by RBC. he hasn't been doing too well. Just hasn't been scoring really. So I'm not going to be playing him. He's at that price where he's always really at, or has been recently. No love for me. What about you?
How far down are we going?
Well, I was just talking specifically about Nick Taylor.
Okay.
I was just kind of go like one by one, just kind of.
What happened to Sung Kang lately? He's been playing he was playing great for a while, and then he started missing cuts, and then he's up and down. So I don't think I'm going there. Let me go back here.
Yeah, my guy started at 7.9K is Gary Woodland. Odds he's at like 45-1, better than a lot of the guys, the majority of the guys in that range. Number one in one of my stats, I have so many browsers open. It's going to be forever to find this.
I may be I don't know. Kevin Tway is pretty much the only guy that I'm probably considering around here, and then I'm going definitely overweight on Lahiri. I'm really liking Lahiri this week.
Yeah, I haven't been able to come around to him. I'm used to him under 7K, and to see him at 76, I don't even know the last time he golfed. He's been in the Euro Tour, correct?
Well, he missed the cut at the Open, but his stats are really good. Birdie or better, 9th in the field. Actually, I think these are world stats or PGA stats, I should say. 31st in par fives.
There's a stat I wanted about Woodland, but go ahead. I'll wait.
No, I was just saying. I was on Lahiri. He's definitely going to be one of my heavier guys in that tier.
Yeah,
and James Hahn as well. The only thing I'm a little concerned about James Hahn though.
Right. Me too, man.
Because I don't know what the story was. Like, how long was he over in England before he took that spot?
Yeah, Snedeker withdrew, I think.
It was the day before, or the day or two
morning.
before.
Yeah, it was the day. So I don't know.
Was Hahn already there?
I think the alternates, like a few of them, are already there because I think they give a couple, like one or two, an exemption anyway, almost. Because I don't know, it's weird. I know there's a few that are already there, but they have a long list. Like if you look at if you look at the players in the field, and there's like 8 alternates. It's like they never use all these guys. Like,
right. Yeah, because he played. His last event was the Greenbrier, and he came out at the Open. He played really the first round. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be one of these Cinderella stories. This fucking guy just filled in for Snedeker, and he's gonna get in contention on Sunday, but he fell apart on Saturday. But yeah, I mean,
just on the par 5 for Lahiri, since you brought him up, he's pretty good. Better than the average all around. 46,
that's what I like.
5 to 550. And we know he's a good par. He's like number 1 in par 4 scoring, I think, which that's what he's been known for.
Lahiri is 11th in the field in the 10 tournament birdie or better rank. Guessing this is birdie. What is birdie average? GA?
Bogey avoidance.
Oh yeah, thanks.
No doubt, man. Sorry, I got to open this bag of pretzels real quick. But right.
He's not great at bogey avoidance, but if he's really good at birdie or better, then it makes up for it.
Right.
Where else? Strokes gained to hole, 19th. Strokes gained putting, 29th.
Oh yeah, real quick to everyone listening, my reasoning for playing Gary Woodland, let me bring him back up. He is number 1. This is on all courses, not Glen Abbey itself. In par 5s from the distance I'm looking at, 500 to 550. I lost the browser I had open, but that is the info. There. No, it's par. Oh, I switched it to par 4 to look up Lahiri. So let me bring it back to par 5, and we have. Let's see.
Yeah, see there. That's a good stat right here. If you're on Woodland, you had a 20th at the Farmers, which I told you there's some correlation there. I saw somebody's podcast, and they actually were saying there's a lot of similarities between this event and the Farmers.
Oh, one second, I'm responding to Tone real quick. I'll just say it out loud. ACP definitely does stack lineups. He has a core. Like in the Millie Maker last week, he had like 4 lineups that were in contention. He had the core of Spieth, Kuchar, and Spieth, Kuchar, what was it? And Brooks. Brooks didn't do amazing, but I always like to play a core. I'm just like Seth said, his roster or his player pool is real tight. So it's just going to be pretty much maneuvering. So, yeah.
He's asking about what we do, I guess. Basically,
like, are you willing to play more like multiple guys and play 3 guys and 3 lineups? Like, just
like
go all in.
When I think I had like 25 lineups, 25 Millie Maker lineups, which was ridiculous. I never should have done that. I regret it. Especially since they didn't do very well. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is I had way too much exposure to Phil. It was really dumb, and I forgot something that I said earlier in the week to a friend of mine, and it completely slipped my mind. I said, I'm pretty sure this is the first week he's going to be in a major without Bones, and I completely blew that off like I didn't even say it. And after the event, it's all over. I'm seeing it all over the place, and I'm like, what the hell did I play this guy for? He's playing in a major without his caddy he's had for 20-something years, and that's a huge difference. I mean, you built up like a comfort zone with your caddy, and all of a sudden you got some other guy in the bag. It's a big difference. Anyway, I had too much exposure to him. I made a huge mistake by having Stricker and Sink, not so much in having them in my pool, and having them in lineups together. When you're building your lineups, what I've found, what I've determined based on what I've seen that's another great thing you'll see on Fantasy Fanatics if you use it, is you can actually see how the roster builds. And what I've noticed is they're taking pretty much the majority of their lineups, either 4 or 5 guys, are guys that can be in contention from one week to the next. I mean, top players that, I mean, they'll have some chalky guys, but they'll differentiate themselves with like a Lee, the guy Lee last week that came in second. Actually, the winner had him in his lineup, and basically there were probably 10 different guys that were like a Lee that everybody was throwing, peppering around in their 150 lineups, and you had to have it right, obviously, by having the right stack. So what I try to do is I'll make a stack. Like if I have 20 lineups, I'll make like 2 or 3 different stacks. Like for example, in this event here, I might have Finau and let's say Hoffman, and then somebody a little bit lower like a Danny Lee. I'll make that one stack, and my hope is that they all get through and they're all playing well. And then within that stack, which I have maybe 6 or 7 lineups with, I'll rotate in different guys into those lineups. And the mistake that I've made in the past, and I've made it more than once, is where I fill in the blanks, I'm not focusing enough on the right plays within one lineup, if that makes any sense. I mean, what I'm trying to say is a Sink and a Stricker the likelihood of both of those guys going off in the British Open is not very good. I mean, one of them, yeah, and neither one really did. I mean, Sink missed the cut. Stricker was like nowhere to be found. So typically that's what you're going to find. I mean, you're not going to see those two guys fighting for the lead on Sunday. So you got to think about that as far as theory goes. You don't want to have guys in there in one lineup that you know only one is going to be in contention. You don't know which one, but you don't want to have the two guys in one lineup together that are most likely not to go off together. That's what I'm trying to say. So basically get your stud core and then put guys in there like what Dex just said about Woodland. He's definitely a guy that can contend. And then there's guys like Furyk, who is probably going to make the cut, but he's not going to make a whole lot of noise. I mean, he could go on to win this thing, but I don't know if he's going to really put up enough points for you unless he does. So that would be a guy, if I was to use him, I'd be very cautious about who I'd have in the lineup with him, because I wouldn't want him with another mediocre guy who just kind of like makes cuts and finishes top 20, top 25 every so often, because that's not going to do it for you. You're playing against, I mean, I'm talking big GPPs. You have to somehow have all your guys in contention in order to take it down, or even cash well. You've got to have 6 guys that go off. There's no doubt about it. And that's what happened in the Millie Maker. I mean, you can't afford to have one guy that's sitting down there in 50th. Even though he makes the cut, he's not going to do you any good unless he's got a hole in one or a few eagles. But that's a lot of luck for that to happen.
Right. And all right. So let's just drop. All right. So I don't want to
cover rant there, but I was just trying to explain my my rostering strategy that
dude, very valid. I mean, that's honestly more important than like plays, because that's a foundation. Once you build the foundation, like that's the most important part. I forgot the quote. I just kind of fucking went brain dead there. Started the quote, but I forgot the ending. But anyway, let's see. Very, very good stuff there. Definitely valid. I've made the same mistake multiple times. I mean, I still do. I probably still will. It's tough to get those like alpha males, 6 of them, and like there's always those guys, and that brings me into my little lineup construction. My core, and I don't want to call it a core because I'm running 3 lineups. I don't really like to do a core. I mainly like to do 3 different lineups just so I'm covering my bases. But I'm going to have a lineup that goes DJ, Finau, Cantlay, and I am at 67,333 6733, so 6,700 a golfer, and it's not looking good. But I might make 3 entries. I might join the $5 3 entry max and the $3 3 entry max. They're probably full now, but I was planning on doing that and making 6 different lineups and just spreading them out. And I was going to stack like those 3 guys in one, and then just split the 3 guys under 7K, or 4 guys that I liked, and they were Percy, Ben Crane, Will McGirt, and Alex Sheshka. Those are my main 4. I do like Patrick Rogers right there at 7K, but I can't get him in with 2 of those guys. But McGirt, simply for par 5 scoring, hasn't been doing phenomenal recently. But I remember one of the events a few weeks ago, he was the only one to par 5, all the par 5s. I don't remember, or the eagle of the par 5s. I just said par 5, the par 5s, I'm pretty sure. But I meant to say eagle the par 5s there. Oh, man. If we look at his last event, let's see, he got cut at the Open, T71 at the John Deere, which is very underwhelming. T43 at the Traveler, so hasn't gotten better than a T40 in more than his last 5 events. But if you look at his Canadian Open stats, last year T59, 2015 T34, then when you go to 2013, which is held at this venue as well, he had a T2. So I'm going to let it fly at only 6,700, 2 eagles and a cut made, and we're fucking golden with Willie McGirt. So I am going to have good exposure to him. that's going to be my highest exposed guy under 7K for sure. And since we skipped that 7.5K range, I feel like a fucking idiot. I'm just gonna say the guys I'm gonna have exposure to. Honestly, because we're getting real late, and I need to. That's on me. Next week, we don't have golf next week. Well, maybe we'll see if DK puts. They're definitely gonna be smaller since.
What event is next week?
The WGC.
Oh yeah.
Let me see who said it. Yeah, it's not PGA sponsored, so it didn't show up in the schedule when I googled it.
But there's got to be something.
Jacob Baker said it. WGC Bridgestone is next week. They'll probably do something. DK makes money regardless. They make
that's a match play event, right?
Let's see. Bridgestone. I actually do not know. Let's see. Oh, it's loaded. Jordan Spieth's headlighting the event. Supposedly, let's see.
One of those WGCs is match play. I always.
They already had the match play this year.
Oh, okay.
It's not a major, but it boasts a field worthy of one.
Oh, okay. So this is like the warm up to the PGA.
Let's see. I want to see the I don't want to spend too much time on it, but let me see. They should have the DraftKings challenges up.
Well, how many players in the field?
I didn't. I just read a quick. Let's see. Let me click field. Let me press field here. Oh, it's on the PGA Tour website, so it doesn't have I can't do all the names, but it's guys that have won events. So you've had to win events, so it's a very stacked field. We got Daniel Berger, Rafael Cabrera-Bello, Kevin Chappell, Jason Duffner, big names, Fleetwood, Ricky Fowler, Sergio. But these are guys that they say they've qualified. This is weird. Qualified players as of 7/24/2017. I don't know if that means they're in there because this field is fucking gnarly. Oh, this is it. This is them, I think. Yeah, so the field smaller. So I'm gonna just list the big names.
Oh, it used to be played in June. They moved it. That's what it was.
Yeah, JT's in it. Stenson, Kyle Stanley, Spieth, Snedeker supposedly, but he might withdraw. We'll see. John Rahm, Thomas Peters.
Yeah, there's no cut.
Oh, well, that makes sense. They're just doing it to fucking warm up. Yeah. So there can't be a DraftKings for that. All right. So yeah, Brooks Koepka, Kuchar, Mark.
Well, they've had a no cut event on DraftKings, so I don't know if they'll do it or not, but it's a small field. It's like 63 players. And DJ won it last year. And they actually, oh man, this must piss everybody off. It's not in it. They earned FedEx points for this.
No way.
Yeah. That's messed up.
That is fucked. That's crazy. All right. Well, anyway, let's get down to those. Let's get to these plays here so we can both get off and make the lines there. So in between, real quick, we mentioned the last guy we covered in that 7K range was Gary Willen. The guys I'm going to have exposure under that, these would be my second set of 3 entry maxes would be Kelly Craft, very risky, but if his putter's hot and he can hit the ball pretty well, I like him. Chad Campbell is going to be chalk. I might come off him and pivot to Reavie or Scott Stalling, so I have start as well. Ricky Barnes would be only a one lineup dart, but he ranks 7th in the last 24 rounds and par 550 to 600 yards, which is only one par 5. But if he can eagle that for me, Ricky Barnes at 7,400, obviously going to be the first round leader, just like he is every week. But we got Ollie Schneider-Jans as well at 72, and Patrick Rogers down at 7K. Those are the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a decent amount. I like the range a little bit. I got 7 guys from 8K to 7K. So what do you think, man? Where are you going, you think?
Well, I definitely like Reavie. It's one of my favorites, always in that range. Campbell, yeah, he's going to be very chalky, but he's probably good chalk, actually. He's been playing very well.
The only thing he's 115th and 500 to 550 par 5 scoring.
What is that, the average par 5 distance over there?
Yeah, the highest is 560 yards in the last 24 rounds, yeah. But it's weird because Ches Reeves 102nd, but then if you look at birdies, he's like 7th or something like that. So
yeah, he's not very good in the par 5 category, but he's still, yeah, he'll still make the birdies because his birdie or better is he's 50th, so that makes up for it. I mean, that's a huge what do you call it, like discrepancy there, because most of these guys are pretty much in line with each other as far as par 5 and birdie or better percentage ranking. You don't see that much of a disparity between the two too often. We skipped right over Luke List, who's probably going to be pretty chalky.
That's why I'm fading him, honestly. But yeah.
Let's see. Curtis Luck. There's been some talk about him. You know, a guy nobody's talking about who actually I think played very well here in the past is Jeff Ogilvy. He hasn't had a very good season, but at this course, I think he's done pretty well. Let's see here. Yeah, he had 9th last year. 2011 a 4th. So he plays this course pretty well. Somebody to consider. Don't know if I'll use him or not, but I'm going to be putting some thought into it. It'll be a whole lot of thought because it's 1:30.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think I'm going back to Sink. I don't know. He's starting to go downhill a little bit now. I don't know if this is a new trend because he was playing really good for a little while. Hadwin, no, I'm not doing that. Ricky Barnes, you know, tomorrow he could wake up, he could be in the lead. This is like the first round leader guy.
That's right.
Especially in an event like this. But it always scares me.
5th last year, T11 2015.
Yeah, I mean, he plays it well. So
15th at the Barbasol. He's got better than he's made the cut 4 out of the last 5. The only miscut he has in his last 5 events is the Greenbrier. Other than that, straight T55s are better. So I'm gonna let it fly.
The only thing is he's awful in birdie or better, and DK points going back to I guess beginning of the season. Chris Kirk in this range. He misses too many cuts. I don't think I like him. I don't know. Ollie Schneiderjans, you know, a lot of people are talking about him. He's so cheap. I mean, it almost looks like he doesn't belong in that tier, which kind of scares me. Like they know something.
Right.
It's like a trap play to me.
The DK does that sometimes, dude.
Yeah.
It's freaky.
I know. You know, you think it's a great play, like, oh, I found this guy. He's awesome. 7,200. Next thing you know, he misses the cut. So I don't know if I like that too. This guy, the twat or whatever his name is, I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, he played well here last year. He's like definitely going to have some gallery behind him. Vajegas comes out to play every once in a while. He's a guy you can, you know, depending on how many lines you're doing, you can definitely take a shot on him. He can bomb it. It's like a bodybuilder guy. Boo Weekly, he fades. He plays well for like a day, and then you won't see him anymore. Andres Romero is a guy that a lot of people are talking about. He's got decent course history. He's played the last 3 out of 4 events pretty decent. 25th at John Deere. He actually won the Travelers. But for some reason, he doesn't have any stats. He's Mexican, right? What's the story with him?
Argentinian.
Yeah. So he doesn't really play much on the.
I think he only plays like the WG. Like I think he was in the Puerto Rico Open as well, and I'm honestly I haven't been following him. I just follow the PGA.
Yeah,
like, I don't play Euro or really. Yeah.
Let's see, he won. Where's that Travelers that he won? This is That's weird. It doesn't show up. Course history is good, though. His worst finish was 34th. But as you can see, it kind of like trends up each year. He's getting worse. But that doesn't always mean anything. Sometimes he bounce around. I mean, he doesn't miss cuts, so that's a good thing for a guy down there. I guess I'll just keep going here. Patrick Rogers, he can definitely play well when he wants to, or when he gets it going. Actually, I pulled up my I wanted to just pull this up for a minute. That week field event spreadsheet that I made a while back. And I was trying to, where's Wee Kim? Is he further down?
Yeah, he's 66.
Yeah. See, he's probably my favorite play under 7,000.
Yeah, I think the Justin Turner just walked off for the Dodgers, so all the games are over. Whew.
Oh, really? They won?
Thank God.
What was the final?
6-5, I think. It says no out. He might have gotten out, though, because fucking DK Live is crazy. I just had DK Live open, and it's like...
Oh, man, I think I bet that game with the run line. That
yeah, game
sucked.
over. He singled. Austin Barnes scored.
Oh, shit.
Bottom of the ninth. You bet under?
No, I had the run line. I needed to win by 2.
What kind of bet is that? I just bet over under on the run line. You had to win by 2.
No, not the run line. I'm sorry. The not the total. The 1.5. You know.
Oh, the spread or
right.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, the
run line.
Win margin. Yeah. Yes.
Because the odds were sick. You know?
Yeah, if it wasn't the bottom 9, it would have been good. But there's runners on like it would have scored both runs, but they only count the first one.
Yeah, I know. Unless it's a home run.
Thank goodness, though.
That sucks.
But anyway, all right. Yeah, I gotta get to make these lives. So
yeah.
you got you gonna go down below 7 and just list, or you're not touching down there?
Oh, one guy I wanted to mention. Nobody's talking about him. He's absolutely terrible, but he did almost win last week. Tag Ridings. If you got a ton of lineups, definitely throw him in 1 or 2 because he looks like shit. But he played off the tour last week. Basically, I mean, Barbasol, nobody was paying attention to that. So if you look at his stats, you don't see that it's even in his stats. All you see are missed cuts and MDF and a bunch of crap. But he actually was contending for the win last week. And he comes up really high in birdie or better. As you can see here, 37th. He's probably the best one down here along with Robert Garrigus. Using any Robert Garrigus? No, probably not, right?
No, he was in the daily fantasy foursome on Roto Grinders as the punt play. I mean, that's not going to garner that much ownership, but he's done well. He's one of those guys at his price that kind of seems he's a little underpriced, not a lot, but I don't know. I won't be running him. No.
Okay, and what about one other guy down here is Chechka, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, Alex Chechka. Yeah, I'm rocking him.
And
the cheapest one going.
Oh, Michael Kim. What's the deal with him?
He's just I was playing him earlier when he was making every cut, but now he's showing inconsistency, so I'm just fully off him because that's his only good use. He's not going to win an event, so I'm not going to play him.
All right.
I will say that Jordan asked in the chat about a weather advantage. I didn't respond immediately because I'm trying to get the good grasp here, but it looks like the wind on I don't think you need to target a weather angle because it's not supposed to rain. So far, we look good. But according to Wind Finder, the wind on tomorrow night at 5 p.m., so like the last 5 holes maybe, this is getting very particular, but we're looking at no wind, like 2 mile per hour wind, 5 mile per hour gusts. So like the scoring should be up. It's in between like 3:30 and 5 p.m. So I'm looking at the last waves on Thursday and the tee times we got. Not the best of guys. All those featured guys are going to be going in the morning. So I'm going to start looking at the tee times of about 2 p.m. and later. 1:55, we actually got my boy Ricky Barnes, who I'm going to have some exposure to. So that might go well. Then at the 2:05 tee time, We have this is a split tee, by the way. Last week on the since it's technically not a Euro event, but it's well, it is actually, but it's they treat it as everyone goes off the first hole 2 at a time, and it takes a long time. Like they're going out there for 12 hours. Over here on the PGA Tour, they split up 3 per tee, first tee, 10th tee. So every 10 minutes. And so in the 205 one, we've got Seamus Power. I'm going to have some exposure to him, maybe one lineup. I know I didn't mention him. So that's how it's like him. But I don't think the public knows about it enough. I'm just to plug him in. But I think he's shown enough. I think he did well at the Barbasol. I think he top 10. Might have been a backdoor top 10, I think. But and then at the 215, I don't even recognize more than 2 names. The only names on here I recognize are Richie Wawrinski and Max Homa. I don't know who Ryan Williams is, Garrett Rank. Those are 2 Canadians, probably local guys. But 225, someone mentioned Robbie Shelton earlier. So if you're going to have – that's the last T group. It's Rick Lamb, Nicholas Lionhelm, Jared Hack, Drew Nesbitt, Brett Druitt, and Robbie Shelton. Guys, I'm probably not going to target any tee times. It looks bad. So I don't want to spew a lot of time on that. But at 135, we do have Cantley's group that goes Hearn and Graham DeLette off tee number 1. And then off tee 10, we got Ches Reavie, Dominic Bozelli, and Bo Weekley. So, yeah, oh, man, they got DJ Ting at 125 with Johnny Vegas and Jim Furyk. Oh, man, what are they trying to do? Make us fall asleep? Holy shit.
Yeah, Furyk's going to have to wait a long time.
Yeah, the best T group is at 12:55. T number 10. It's Finau, David Lingmarth, Ben Martin. That's the only group that's got like 3 well-known guys in it.
There's going to be like 100-yard difference between the drives of Furyk and those other 2 guys.
Right. That's nuts. All right, but yeah. So I didn't even know Harold Varner the third was in this field this week. Talking about no one talking about somebody.
I didn't either, to be honest with you.
He's one of those guys that gets you a little first round with leader. Wee Kim is teeing off with Kelly Craft. All right.
Oh yeah, what time?
8:20.
Okay.
Oh, here's the main group. Here's the morning main group. JB Holmes is teeing with Alex Sheshka and Retief Goosen. And on T10, it's Bubba, Graham McDowell, and Matt Kuchar. All right. That's at 8:20. That's like the 4th tee group to go. Shane Lowry's with Woodland and Swafford. Keegan's got KJ Choi and DA points. Oh, man.
Do you know that Jason Bond has the best course history here?
No way. Did you search by did you put what I like to do for that is I put like the meter on Fantasy Labs to like 100 for course history and see who do they throw at me.
How is that possible? This sucks. Because he's made no. That can't be right. I don't know why it says that. Number 1 course history. That's
oh, you know the sweatshop law. When you see Scott Brown teeing off first at 7:10, first round leader, you got to bet it.
Yeah, actually, we didn't talk. I was just trying to remember who I wanted to talk about briefly, but do you think he's going to be? What do you think he's going to be? Like sub 2%?
Let me see the price. 6,500. Oh, I actually would say over. Well,
because he plays these events pretty well.
I'd say 3, and I know this is picky, but I'd say like 3.5, maybe. I think enough people know that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. At this point, at 6,500, yeah, man. I don't know. I still got to make my lineups. I'll put it this way. I'm not going to put him in a lineup just because I'm pretty packed. I'm making 3 or 6 lineups. It depends on how many tournaments are filled. I still haven't reserved my shit. I should probably go in there. But I'm just going to play. If I have to live or die by the sword, I'm playing Willie McGirt at 67 and Alex Sheshka at 66. Those are my 2 favorite value plays down there. But what about you, man? I mean, you talk about Brown if you want, but I really got to get to going real soon, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really seeing anybody else down there that I want to get cute with. I mean, one guy actually, Cody Gribble, who hasn't made anything like all year, does actually show up in my spreadsheet. Let me show you. Sanderson Farms, 1st. Safeway, 8th. OHL Classic, 15th. So these weak field events, he actually comes to play for some reason.
Yeah, because he knows he can contend. So
yeah, I guess.
He is 21st in par 5, 500 to 550 yards, so the Eagles might be coming.
Nobody's going to be on him. He's a guy that definitely I'm going to look at his odds for top 5. I wouldn't bet him to win, but
we're still talking about Scott Brown, right?
No, I'm talking Cody Gribble.
Oh, I heard Gribble. That's right. Oh, my apologies. I was brought up Scott Brown's course history, and it is not good. So let me look at Gribble here. No course history. That's probably even better. Oh my God. Whew. Are you serious?
What? Well, wait. Let me pull them up here. Let me show you.
Miscut of the John Deere, miscut of the Quicken Loans, miscut of the Travelers, miscut of the St. Jude's 41st, the Colonial, miscut of the Byron Nelson.
I know, but there's the weak field events.
You're keeping me up for this? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but even that, oh, you're reading off. Oh, my. Sanderson Farms, isn't that like a web.com or something like that?
Probably,
Safeway.
but that's basically what this is.
BJ's in this. Kuchar's. I wouldn't say all that, man.
You got to go back to 2016 to see where he plays well. He had like a stretch of 5 weeks where he played really well.
I'm looking at his stats of that Sanderson Farms. He finished 20 under, beat the names of like Luke List, Lucas Glover, Xander Shotley.
Yeah, how did he do that?
Russell Henley beat him too. Ben Martin beat him. Ben Crane.
Right. Telling you, man.
Power.
This guy's going to win this week.
Evan Tway.
Don't take me serious on that. I'm just saying
most of our viewers probably asleep now, man.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just
all right, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Any final thoughts, my man, on the slate? Like, you got any final construction notes or just anything, man?
No, I mean, I could show you guys something real quick. Actually, I'll try to make it real brief here. Take a look at something here. It's pretty interesting. Let me see. The Open Championship. All right, so we'll go to the Millie Maker just to try to like give you guys an idea of what I was talking about. Here's Andrew right here, actually. These are all 150 entries. And there were a few. But, okay, so let's go to Sahil. Oops. All right, so he had 37 players in his pool in 150 lineups. His highest exposure to any one player was basically 100%, 99.3% on Rory. So he had like one lineup without Rory. So, I mean, I thought it was a great plan, and he did it in the U.S. Open too. Obviously, he can afford to do this, but, I mean, if Rory wins, he probably wins because Rory was only 6.3% owned. He's one of the best players in the world, arguably the best. He had 80% on Finau, and if you scroll down, you'll see his lineup construction here. And he was able to actually make, based on who he took in his pool, he had several 50,000 lines that didn't have any duplicates. He had one right here, which is pretty admirable. Because most of these lines that were 50K were like 90 and 100 duplicates. It was ridiculous. So anyway, this is how he did it. He did Rory, Justin Rose, Justin Thomas. And if you look at a few of these, you'll see that the cores are all pretty much the same. Like he'll have Rory and Finau, or not Finau. Yeah, he did. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up here. So he had Rory and Finau in like almost all his lineups, and then he would just throw in all these other studs because it didn't matter how chalky he went with his lower exposures because he differentiated himself with Rory, and then he could throw in anybody he wanted. But the problem was that he had these missed cuts right here. His highest exposure was almost 50% on 2 missed cuts, which pretty much did him in. You guys still with me?
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you told me silence. You showed this to us in the well, showed it to like a few people.
Yeah, so I mean, I was like looking at it real closely at a few of these guys just to see like how they go about their max lineups in the Millie Maker, and it's pretty interesting to see. I mean, they all do it differently. He goes full exposure to one guy. Some of the other guys are like 60% on 2 different guys. So there's several ways to skin the cat, you know? There's no one rule for rostering in a GPP when you're maxed out or whatever amount of lineups you do. Obviously, when you do one lineup, it's like playing the lottery. You know, just play for fun and hope for the best. Actually, here's the leaderboard if you're interested in seeing this. The guy who won had 150 lineups. In the top 10, there was one guy with a single bullet, one guy with 2 lineups, and there was an 11th place guy with a single bullet. So it's possible. I mean, you get it right. If you can nail it, you can take it down or cash big, but it's not easy when you're going against these guys with 150 lineups. Because they can throw so many of those little darts in there, you know?
I feel you.
Anyway, I don't want to hold you guys up any longer.
Yes, sir. I'm starting to fall asleep, and I got to be up early tomorrow too. So I'm about ready. So that's all I got. We got a 7:10 start. Lastly, guys, so try not to fall asleep like I do quite often while making my lineups. So
one last thing. Sorry to interrupt, but Curtis said he's got DJ in all his lineups. Should he be worried? I don't know how many lineups he got, but no, I wouldn't really be worried. I mean,
Seth, I think you muted your mic there, man. Can't hear you anymore. But anyway, guys, I think did Seth just stop talking on you guys? Real quick, if you can confirm in the chat, because I heard him for all of a sudden. Yeah, his audio cut. Yeah, Seth, so your audio went out, my man. All right. I know you guys can still hear me because I got the green bars there. So I don't know what he was getting at. I do actually. It's if you're making only a couple lineups, it is tough because if DJ misses the cut, all of your lineups are fucked, Curtis. But if DJ wins the event, then you could have a miscut and still do well. It's tough, man. It depends if you're willing to let that money go. DJ is the overwhelming favorite, almost 2-1 favorite over Kuchar, who's 11-1 at plus 600. That means he's got like he's projected to win at like a, what is it, like a 20, like what is it, like I think it's like a 16.7% chance to win at plus 600, which is a very high number. We haven't seen guys at plus single digits in a long time. So, yeah, guys, I'm just call it off from here. Y'all keep it easy, and see you guys next week. Y'all take care, all right? And for me and Seth both, let's get to that money, guys. Stay good.